In today's video, I want to talk about the new attachments that are being added in Delta Force Season 7. Now, you might be wondering, why are we talking about new attachments? Because they are absolutely awesome, and I think they're going to change up the game a lot. And with some of those attachments, they're actually adding in new stats that will be modified with them. So I wanted to talk about them today, and people have also asked me in the comments to cover the new attachments. So going into the armory here, there are a total of 11 new attachments to unlock this season. Now, a lot of them are mostly just attachments that can be used across different weapons, but we're also getting some new barrels for the MP7, the SG552, a new handguard for the SR25, a new muzzle brake for the lever action, and then a new barrel for the Ash 12. So we're just going for the Mark IV here, which is the newest weapon that will be added when the season launches on Tuesday. First, let's look at the foregrip. As you can see, crazy accuracy bonus at plus 16 with plus stability, plus handling, cost of control. So this will now be the best foregrip you can put on your weapon if you're building it to have a hipfire build. And you know that I love hipfire builds, so I'm going to need to revisit all of my hipfire builds that I've ever made. Now let's look at the two stocks that are being added. So some of these attachments aren't available for certain weapons and stuff like that. So this one, new stock, again, massive bonus to accuracy at plus 16, plus 2 stability, negative 2 handling, and plus 2 control. So it's really competing with potentially not even having a stock. It has more accuracy than just having no stock. Of course, you don't get as much of a boost on handling, but you also get a lower penalty on control and stability for this specific stock. Actually, there's no penalties. You're gaining control and stability, which is really nice. And you can make up for that handling quite easily with just patches or handguard panels and stuff like that. The next one, it does give you a nice bump in handling, control, as well as stability at the cost of accuracy. So yeah, if you're building a weapon for longer range engagements, this might be worth it. And it also gives you increased ADS movement speed. And then we also have the new optic, the VMX frameless sight. So I showed this off in my Mark IV video, and I absolutely love this optic. I think I'm going to probably be using it across all my weapons. It just looks so clean. I love the fact that the actual reticle is red, and yeah, it just looks fantastic. So the new rear grip that's available, unfortunately, isn't available to many weapons. It is called the Sentinel Stable Rear Grip, and it just gives you a flat plus 6 control. Now, is it worth it over some of the other ones for specific weapons? I mean, the G3 only has 2 right now. It'll be 3 with the new one, and it actually gives you something that gives you positive control as opposed to the other two. This one plus 3, plus 7 handling, extra stability, and then this one only gives you extra stability at no other bonuses except a penalty for handling. So the rear grip here is available, I think, to like the G3. I think at the PSG, I want to say as well. It should be available to that. They are very similar weapons. I think they're based off the same type of weapons. Yeah. So the Sentinel Stable Rear Grip, and it'll also be available to the PTR 32. So those are the 3 weapons that I've noticed it was available to, albeit I haven't skimmed through each individual weapon. And while we're here, there's a new micro riser. So the MEO micro sight riser. So this one gives you a plus 2 bonus for stability at the cost of handling, compared to this one that gives you plus 1 handling, negative 1 control. So then you actually have 2 options of risers to maybe give you a slight bump on a stat that you might be lacking. And then obviously we have the lever action, which I absolutely love. We have a muzzle device for it now. It gives you plus 9 control at the cost of handling. It gives you reduced vertical control, better firing stability, better firing camera stability. So I don't know, kind of a mixed bag. I feel like the lever action is a semi-auto, lever action weapon. That increase in control, is it going to matter all that much? Maybe. Especially if you're using maybe the Hummingbird lever for it. But yeah, go MP7. So this one is interesting because it's nothing too crazy in terms of stats. Like if you compare it to the long barrel here, it gives you like plus 3 meters. Same thing with that one. This one gives you better control, better stability, cost of accuracy, and handling. This one, not as good bonuses, but there's a new stat here that is called jump spread penalty. Now I looked through the stats and I couldn't actually find where that stat would be, unfortunately. But from my understanding, basically, if you have this specific barrel equipped and you're jumping and trying to shoot at the same time, there's going to be increased spread on your weapon. So are they trying to maybe nerf movement or jump shotting a little bit? This is a new stat. Haven't seen it before. Maybe you could tell me otherwise. Now moving on to the SR25, there's a brand new handguard, and this one I absolutely love what it's doing. So it's reducing the flinch you get when you're getting shot at and you're ADSing. So if you didn't know before, when Delta Force launched and you would increase stability, it would also reduce your hit flinch multiplier. So if we look at just the regular handguard for the SR25, you can see we still have the 0.8x current hit flinch multiplier. Now, if we equip the SR25 Dominator handguard on here, it reduces it drastically. So we're now at 0.16x. So even when somebody's going to be firing back at you, you are not going to flinch at all. Your sight is going to stay pretty much directly on them. And I'm curious to see if they're going to add this to other weapons because they took it out from the stability stat back in the day. And I honestly missed that. Well, I was sad when they removed this stat being affected by stability. I thought it was a really cool thing to trade off. So if you wanted higher stability, you'd get that higher hit flinch multiplier, lower hit flinch multiplier. But then if you were too low on stability, you would have a difficult time tracking your targets when you were getting shot back at. So excited to see this come back in the game. Whereas the Ash 12, here it is. Let's just modify it real quick. So now we have 3 barrels, so that's the short one, the precision long barrel, and this one. So this one completely modifies the damage model for the Ash 12. As we can see, we're now doing 50 damage per shot. It does unfortunately reduce the fire rate for the weapon from 500 to 400, but increased control, cost of handling, increased stability, cost of accuracy, special damage multiplier, and a lower fire rate, as well as an advanced recoil system. So just looking at the damage here, you're doing 50 damage to the chest, mid-mass. So all the other limbs and the stomach have lower damage, but if you're aiming mid-mass, you will be doing 50 damage. And the theoretical TTK on this is like, I think it's like 150 milliseconds, which is absolutely insane. And you're doing 75 damage to the head. Now, unfortunately, the recoil is very difficult to control, and I'm just going to build a quick one right here just to show you guys what it looks like. So in the firing range here, and I just want to shoot a few shots with the Ash 12, you're going to see it has a similar recoil pattern to the AK M with the performance barrel, I think, or one of the barrels that the first shots, the recoil goes down. So you can see I hit a limb there. So it might be a little bit difficult to actually get somebody twice in the chest because of that recoil that brings the weapon down. In turn, you're going to hit the stomach more so often than the chest twice. But if you manage to hit the chest twice, as you can see, it's even worse at range. It is 2 shots to kill within like 40 meters, which is absolutely wild. And I love the Ash 12. It feels like a really chunky and powerful weapon, and it is no different in this season. And with this specific barrel increasing the damage, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And last but certainly not the least, we have a new barrel for the SG552. So we used to only have the SG552 Knighthood heavy barrel. Now we have the SG552 Hound light barrel. Can't say that I'm a fan of this. You're losing all the patches that this one gives you access to that you could, just boost up the stats compared to this one. So what is different? You're getting 1+ control. You're not losing out in any accuracy. You're getting increased range. You're only losing out on some stability, but you're getting all these extra patches that you can use to bump up the stability. So I'm not sure about this one. Kind of a mixed bag. Don't really think it's going to be all that useful unless they do something different to it. But that'll be it for today's video. I just wanted to touch on these brand new attachments because I think they're trying to bring in new attachments that are changing the weapon meta and increasing the amount of stats that are being changed by the weapons to really make the weapons feel different based off of what attachments you're putting on them. And I'm really excited to see the future of the weapon building in Delta Force. Anyways, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.